Hi, I'm Sherry Habermill from Habermill Reading, and as an Orton Gillingham tutor, I don't like sounding it out. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I don't like sounding it out, and it might not be for the reason that you'd expect. So who is this video for? This video is for parents if you're starting to work with young readers who are just beginning to read and spell short one-syllable, short vowel words, and they are maybe having trouble reading those words. It can be for parents or teachers or tutors who are working with kids who are a little bit older and ready for multi-syllable words as well. Short and long vowel sounds, the same steps that I talk about will apply. This video is for people who are working with kids who might have memorized a lot of one-syllable words, but if they read nonsense words or words that they haven't read before, they're guessing or they're getting these words incorrect. So this is also for struggling readers who don't understand what sounded out means. And so why do I not like sounded out? That's the reason why. Kids don't know what sounded out means. So for some context, I work with kids every day, and I asked 8 or 9 of them, actually different kids over the last week or so, do you know what sounded out means? And all of them had told me some variation of they've heard it before, they've been told to sound it out before, but they don't know what it means. So when all of these readers started with me, they were either non-readers completely, or they were doing a lot of guessing. So now all of them can sound it out. They can blend and segment words accurately, depending on how long they've been working with me. It could be just still one-syllable short vowel words if they're rather new. Others that I've been working with for a while are onto multi-syllable words with accented and unaccented patterns, long and short vowel patterns, prefixes, suffixes, tion, sion patterns. Many spelling rules, like they can accurately sound it out, but they didn't know how to when they first started with me. And it's not that they don't have the capacity to sound it out, it's just they didn't know what that meant. So I teach sounding it out explicitly. And the way that I teach it is in 5 different steps. The first step that I always teach with students is I have them identify the vowel sound. Looking at these words, pond, I have them identify what sound is that O making. It could be, first of all, like the syllable type that's closed, the O is going to say it's aw sound, short vowel sound. Many will look at that and say pound. They won't know what sound the O is making. Or left, is that left, lift? Slid, is that slid, slide? The vowel is very confusing for them, whether that's just a mix up between other short vowel sounds or long and short or some other vowel sound. So identify the vowel first. I know that the vowel is not the first sound in a lot of these words. That's okay. What ends up happening if they haven't identified the vowel first, that's where the most variation is going to be. When they are sounding it out, they forget the first sounds or blend before they get there anyway, and then they're stuck on this vowel and they don't know what to do. So let's tackle that hardest part with the most variability, the most variation in sounds first, then go back to the beginning of the word. So identify that vowel sound. These are one-syllable words, but this would apply for multi-syllable words too. We just do this one syllable at a time. So identify the vowel sound first. The second thing we do is figure out any tricky letters. So I've highlighted the P's and D's. Many kids that I work with mix up B's and P's and D's and Q's, but they also mix up some other letters. Some of them mix up U's and N's. Some of them mix up F's and T's. You can see here, for example, this F has a curve at the top. Some T's also have a curve at the bottom, so they can mix up F and T. Some of them mix up a lowercase l with an I. So figure out those tricky letters. It could also be digraphs. What sound is the CH making at this word? What about a QU? What's happening there? So things that they've had some inconsistency with, make sure they figure those out first before they start blending the word together. Because if they're reading this D is a B, the word's going to be wrong. So figure that out first. The next thing is I want them to say each sound separately. So don't start sounding it out by blending right now. Isolate each sound. That's reminding them of a few things, reminding them when there are short vowels and reminding them of that vowel sound, what it is, and putting it in the right order. They might need to say each sound separately a few times to accurately say each of those sounds, especially when sometimes, some letters, for example, C, it can have a soft and hard sound. What sound is that C making? Or G, it can have a soft and hard sound based on the situation. So say each sound separately, get them all right in the right order. Then we blend. Many of them don't know what the word blend is. So I often draw a happy face under it when we say each sound separately. Slid. And blending means holding the sound until you get to the next sound, not saying slid with a pause in between the sounds anymore, like we did in the previous step, but holding the first sound until you get to the second sound, holding the second sound until the next sound, and so on. And you might need to do that 2 or 3 times. After they've done that 2 or 3 times, they might hear the word already in their head and then say it like a word. Don't jump to the say it like a word before you've done those other steps. Eventually, this will be automatized and they'll be able to do it incredibly fast. But when they're first getting these steps of sounding the word out, not jumping through those. And when I talked to each of the students that I was working with this past week, they know how to sound it out. They can do all of these things proficiently, but they didn't know that sound it out had other steps, micro steps in between just looking at the word and then saying the word out loud. There are these pieces that we need to build upon. So that's why I don't like the term sound it out, because it's too broad and it doesn't encompass the smaller steps that students have to do to get to the end goal of reading fluently. So if you are working with learners who are struggling to sound it out and you think that they might need some explicit teaching in what sound it out really means, I encourage you to try some of these steps and see if it works for you. Thanks.